beer, the Kolsch. And I said, it's a perfect poolside beer. And when I said that, it was almost like you could see, like I felt like I could see like that light bulb sort of just flick.
Everybody's head goes, there it is, that's
right?
it.
And then I'm like,
kind of like we came up with a name for
JDUB'S
Unfiltered,
right? It was like raw,
there was let's not even talk about the list because the list was absolutely ridiculous.
It got a little weird, but
it got very weird.
Yeah, so right, what?
Could it go on for days?
No, not days. Well, we could have taken it for days, but no. So we
got to bring out some old shit.
So I looked it up. Yes. So I looked it up, and there was nothing taken for poolside at the time, and so we put a trademark on it, and there you go. So we fell into that poolside, beachy, whatever Florida feel. So we came about that in an honest way. Now you asked me about Playa Roja.
I did.
Now that is more of a testament to, Kelly, my wife, is half Cuban.
Okay.
And she speaks Spanish. My son's quarter Cuban. I'm a mutt. So I'm kind of, I feel like I don't know if adopted is the right word to use when we're talking about my wife and her heritage. But, she speaks Spanish, obviously. And it was like, something that associates kind of with, and again, I guess I'm kind of, and with Playa Roja, I did something a little different. But it was more wanting a Spanish word. And I think my inspiration from that was not so much. I know it's Red Beach is Playa Roja, but my inspiration for that more was Hernando de Soto, and Hernando de Soto, was I guess the founder of Sarasota. His daughter was with a Z, Sarasota, and it was kind of a tribute to the heritage of Sarasota as well as me wanting a Spanish name beer. And that's
so
there
good.
you go. So it was kind of my family thing and kind of the Hernando de Soto thing. So I do admit that one was a little bit more. But again, we didn't create that the amber style. Matt Tucker makes a fantastic amber,
and you know what?
And that's that's how we came about that style.
I am typically I make this as a joke. I'm not typically a fan of ambers because my ex-fiance's name was Amber. Oh. So I always throw that out there.
I hate that bitch IPA.
I hate that bitch Amber. That's what can I do a one-off little small bottle release of an amber ale here and just call it that bitch's name was Amber or something like that?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Fantastic. Sorry, Matt, you're gonna have to do more work, or Evan, or somebody out there's doing more work. Kevin,
making another amber.
But I really, really enjoy that Playa Roja. I've had quite a few here in the taproom recently, and I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
A very easy drinking beer.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
Can drink it.
Could crush it.
Exactly. It's a session beer. You can go to the beach. You can hang with it.
You got to be careful with that session term though, because I put a sessionable IPA on the side of Up Top.
Yeah. The waves.
Well, okay, but the reason why I called Up Top IPA, why I said sessionable at the time, was more like it was approachable, and I think that word was a little more fluid back then. There wasn't the session IPA,
right?
So that's where we get the sessionable, because back then, particularly in Florida, IPAs, generally speaking, of course, but IPAs were a higher alcohol content. They were 7% plus if you are close to 7%, hovered around that 7%. So when we came out with a 6.5, that was sessionable.
Yes.
Now then shortly after we opened, that session IPA craze kind of came about, and put a style to that term.
Sure.
And on a side note, the session IPA is dying right now. And we'll see where it goes.
Right.
Now, there's some great beers out there. Stone makes one, and
it's drinkable. It's something that you can drink all day long, though. I mean,
yeah.
So the true meaning is you got to the beach and you're hanging. It's hot, and you can just continue to drink.
That IPA flavor without the
when I leave that beach, I see red.
What's that?
When I leave that beach, I see red. I saw red when I left that bitch. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I hate you, Amber. I hate you.
Hate is a strong word. I do not hate. Sometimes despise, but it's a different story altogether. We'll get into that in a different show. You're gonna make me all verklempt, guys. Come on, stop it.
What about the Bell Cow, guys?
Let's talk about the Bell Cow.
Yeah. So
let's get chocolate. Let's talk
real
about
quick.
chocolate.
I know we're about to talk about Bell Cow, and it's great, but I know you just released a nitro version of it, and it's freaking velvet in my mouth. I love it. But go ahead. Let's talk about Bell Cow, then we'll talk about the nitro.
It's creamy.
Yeah, no, Bell Cow's still. I mean, so we're super happy with that, right? God, that's a long another one. If you know me and you know how insane this head of mine that I'm cursed with is, there's usually a long story to things because I lament over pretty much anything that has to do with JDUB'S or where we're going to go, the direction we're going to go with the brewery, but are the new styles, etc., new core beers. But so initially I was thinking about calling this beer. This beer was going to be called Moo Cow, and I really liked the name Moo Cow. I still like the name Moo Cow. However, there is a Moo Hoo, as we all know, made by Terrapin Brewing Company in Athens, Georgia. Phenomenal brewery. You've done a collaboration with Terrapin, like every other brewery in Florida.
Delicious beer, though. That Das
Great
Gloop
beer.
was amazing.
Yeah, Das Gloop. It was a chocolate Rybach that we did with them. There's a funny story about that, too. The chocolate Rybach style that we made. But so I wanted to name this thing Moo Cow. I thought it was a great name. I still do, but at the time we were looking at distributing in Georgia. We're not distributing in Georgia now, but we were looking at doing it, and I was in talks with the same distributor who distributes Terrapin. They're Moo Hoo, and they have that beer, obviously, like I just said, Moo Hoo, and that's a chocolate milk stout. And at the time, in my head, this beer was a chocolate milk stout. Bell Cow was a chocolate milk stout, and I thought, well, if we're going to have the same style as Terrapin, why call it? And I envisioned kind of a cow theme, but why call it something so similar to Moo Hoo? And I don't. What you don't want to do as a brewer, and this is a whole other tangent that I could get into with authenticity. But what you don't want to do is come across. What we don't want to do at JDUB'S is look like we're imitating someone else, right? Like I love everyone else. I don't love everyone in this industry, but I respect the hell out of just about every other brewer that's out there, and it's so out of respect. I don't want to try to do what they're doing or steal any of their thunder. Not saying that I could or would, but so you want to stay away from that. And then
absolutely, that makes complete sense.
And I love Terrapin, but I don't. Just like Terrapin won't want to be confused as JDUB'S, I don't want JDUB'S to be confused as Terrapin. So
what sets Bell Cow apart? What is what's different about Bell Cow?
Well, so yeah, and that's kind of where I'm going with this thing too. Is that with the Bell Cow, it's a porter, it's on a stout, okay, and it's rich, it's creamy, it's sweet. There is 50 pounds of chocolate in a 30-barrel batch.
50 pounds?
50 pounds of chocolate.
FIDDY.
I'm not a chocolate fan, but I know some ladies that would love to be in a bath with 50 pounds of chocolate.
Right. So,
Milk
no, and
chocolate.
But so I started looking at it. So it was I didn't want to have the same name or I didn't want to be the same style. I want to have a Moo Cow with a Moo Hoo, both chocolate milk style. So I started doing the market research on the style. Quite a few chocolate milk stouts. So I thought, I don't want to do what a lot of people are already doing. What if, and I started thinking about what I wanted to accomplish with this beer. We wanted a creamy beer. We wanted roast. Roast isn't something that we wanted this beer. I wanted it to be chocolate milk in a glass while still being beer. And that's important to us, right? You don't want something that tastes like a bunch of fruit crap or whatever with an ABV and doesn't taste like beer. At the end of the day, you want it to taste like beer. So we wanted it to taste like beer, still being true to a beer, but to have almost like a chocolate milk sort of feel to it and taste to it. And I thought that with what we were trying to go with the rich chocolate taste, with the creaminess, lent itself more to a porter than a stout. So I started looking out, okay, so if we're going to change this thing to a porter, let me see, as I always do, wanting to take my own path, if you will, as a brewery owner and brewery, let me see what is out there as far as chocolate porters. And I only found one, and that was Hayes. Hayes is made out by Boulder Brewing Company, or Boulder Beer Company, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but out of Boulder, Colorado. But I didn't find any on a large scale.
Yeah,
I didn't find any chocolate porters.
What is that? I'm not sure. I don't really remember what they consider that shake that Boulder Brewing.
Shake. That's it.
That's
Shake.
okay.
That's their chocolate
It's
porter.
Shake, not Haze. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, I'm sorry, but excuse me. Yeah,
no, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. I thought that's what you meant, and I just wanted to double check.
No,
I actually really enjoyed that beer.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I remember it was actually it was the weekend before I started working at JDUB'S. I was at the Bradenton Beer Fest for the Humane Society or whatever it was for up there. It was a great event, and you guys were there. Tom and Bev were there, and Damien that was working here, and Chris Lexow that was a prior brewery here, used to work here, and they were all there drinking and having a good time. And right across from their tent was bottles of shake. And I was like, well, I'm going to go grab one, try it out. It's Beer Fest. And we ended up leaving with like 4 6-packs because the people just gave them to us. At the end of the day, they had a few left over because a lot of people, it was a really hot day. Nobody really wanted something dark and heavy or anything even close to that, especially anything that involved the word milk. Because we all know that's a bad idea on a hot day. And it was great, So I'm glad that you actually took that route because I think more people should really do it.
Well, it's a delicious beer. I mean, anyone can drink it.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Even people who
it blew my mind.
Even people who aren't privy to porters or people who don't like porters, it's too heavy for them. Just taste it, give it a little sample. It's very easy to drink.
Yeah, and,
there's so much flavor to it.
Right, and to finish that story was, then I started. It was a milk. The milk thing comes from the lactose that you use in it, and a non-fermentable sugar. So I wanted to see who's making a milk chocolate porter. I couldn't find anybody. And it just so happens that about the same time, right as we were coming out with it, that Funky Buddha, they have their Nib Smuggler, and that's a seasonal that they do. I haven't had it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things.
I have. I've had it. It's not a bad beer. It has a little bit of a bite to it for me.
Okay.
But it's not. It's not.
Is it like a spice bite or just a little bitterness?
It's a little bit drier. It's on the drier side for me.
Okay.
To where it's nice flavor from the front to the back, and it's very smooth.
Sure.
But it finishes dry, whereas at least the Bell Cow has a little bit more sweetness to it.
Sure.
Makes sense.
And
Absolutely.
I think for a lot of people that are new to porters, they enjoy that sweetness. At least that helps introduce them.
And I'll absolutely say if you like chocolate at all, put one in your mouth.
Yeah, no, for sure. So milk chocolate porter, again, wanting to follow our own lead and do that. The milk chocolate porter, no one else was doing it as far as year-round beer in America that I could find. Could be out there. I don't want to throw that in there, but I didn't see it out there. So, it became a milk chocolate porter. Now, the name, Bell Cow, it was Moo Cow. I didn't want it to sound too much like Moo Hoo, so then it was going to be Cowbell. I thought that'd be dope, right? Because that Will Ferrell skit, in the dance that I still do. I don't know that much anymore, but I did a lot in college. And then I found two cowbell. Yeah, right. And there's 2 breweries doing a cowbell, so I couldn't do that.
If Bruce Dickinson said you need more cowbell, you fucking add more cowbell.
Cock of the walk, baby.
Can we call Christopher Walken in here? Can we get him in here?
Well,
I have a joke for that, but I don't want to be that guy. Can I tell a joke real quick?
Yes, but let me finish this up
okay.
though. So. And then I looked at, we can't do cowbell, because it's already being done. I switched it around, Bell Cow. My wife's Kelly. We call her cowbell, and she's not a head case.
Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
She is a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
And she's raising the coolest son.
Yeah, Max is fan. He's a maniac. I call him Captain Insano. But anyways, so
he has his moments.
We call it Bell Cow. And then I thought it was cool too because I'm a big football fan. And BK was a big Detroit Lions fan. From
I don't know. I think I'm giving up on football.
Dude, I'm a Niner fan. Come on.
Well, yeah. Well, keep going. Add like 75 seasons to that, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, at least we got some Super Bowls, right? Dude, you're going to get there a lot
quicker.
We've held
a few. We've held a few in Detroit.
Hey, let's have the worst talent in the league and the most cap space in the league going into off season, but not spend any fucking money. That's a great idea to get more talent.
Fantastic.
I wonder if we could serve them all Bell Cow and
bring it all back.
Help.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they'd enjoy that at night. Put some calories on.
They know about a drinking is going to make a subpar talent.
Maybe if they give a bunch to the opposing team the night before.
Well, that's a tactic.
That's a tactic.
I'm also a rugby fan. I can
let's
tell you about that.
Anybody out there from Detroit that has works with the Lions wants to do some marketing, we'll make them a beer.
Yeah, it's called Honolulu Done Crappy, but Honolulu Blue Done Crappy. So, anyways, no, but Bell Cow, and then it's a go-to in football, right? So that's their Bell Cow, and that's kind of dope, right? Like you've got the name of your beer, it's your go-to beer, Bell Cow, and it just worked, right? And it's really grown on me. I really like it now, and I think it's working for us. The cans are coming out this week. This week, yeah.
Oh,
so this week, Bell Cow cans will be coming out. And another cool thing about that is we are going into a lot of Publix here pretty soon.
What?
With our passion, yeah,
Publix
man.
is huge in Florida. There's a Publix on every corner in Lakewood Ranch where I live.
Yeah, so we're super stoked.
Literally
about that.
every freaking corner.
Right. So we're. I mean, I'm still pinching myself, but we're going to be about 150 Publix with all 4 of our packaged beers.
That's
So,
fantastic, man.
That's
Congratulations
huge.
on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
absolutely.